Let's talk July reading plans of 2024. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is going to be a very rough TBR, MBR, or just general talk of reading plans for the month of July. Initially, I was going to do a whole SPFBO X or SPFBO 10 TBR, but my reading life has been a little bit disjointed and all over the place this year, so I'm just sort of letting things happen as they happen at the moment. I am so behind on my Spiff No TBR and just other things that I wanted to get caught up in, so it's just going to be what it will be, and this will very much be centered around some books that I would like to get to this month. I've got a bunch of shorter reads that I would like to get to, but it's not by any means an extensive list or TBR for this month while I'm playing catch up and while I've got some other things going on. So a lot of you know over the last few years, I've started to branch out into both alpha and beta reading. I have some of that going on at the moment, and those things take precedent for me, so they are my priorities. I do have a copy of an updated version of The Line Unsunded. All right, well, thanks for joining us, Ari. Bye. By Ricky Smith. So I read this when I was a bookstagrammer before I became a booktuber, and it's now had a revamp. I believe there's another 20,000 words added because one of my takeaways from that book was there was a bigger story there, and I really wanted to uncover that. So Ricky reached out quite recently and said that, he's gone ahead and he's done that, and would I be willing to read it as an alpha reader, to which I, of course, said yes. I recently just read another of his stories, like an alpha read, which was really lovely. So looking forward to getting into that. And the other one I have at the moment is a short story by L.R. Schultz. My buddy Luke has sent that through, so I'll do that as well. So those definitely take my priority. So these things on the list are also things I would like to get to and hopefully can. And like I said, there's quite a few shorter reads on here. So we'll start off with things that I want to finish in the month of July because my June reading was absolute trash, objectively. For me, I think I read 3 books to completion, maybe 5. It is currently the 23rd of June at the time of filming, so I'm hoping to finish at least 2 more things, but the next 2 won't be finished in the month of June. So that is going to be The Bloodstones by Tori Tekken, which I'll put up here. I got to 50% of this in June. I'm going to be starting it again towards the end of the month if I finish the other 2 books, because my audio retention, whilst I love the narration by Andrew D. Meredith, and I think he's a fantastic narrator, my brain was retaining not a lot. So I got to the 50% mark and I was okay, and then I listened to another 20% and I've just retained nothing. So I'm going to go back and read that physically on my Kindle and hope it sticks in my brain a lot better. And the second thing I will be finishing up is All the Hidden Paths by Foz Meadows. So this is the book I moved to on audio towards the end of the month, or I've just started it in the last couple of days, and it's sticking a lot better because this one is more vibes, not plot. It's dark fantasy, it's romantasy, it's Mel romantasy, and it's a lot easier for my brain to keep up with what's happening there. So those are the 2 that will likely carry over into the month of July. And the rest of these, I've sort of picked and chosen some things that were on my Spiffbo originally, TBR. So these are a couple that I have review copies for. I have another couple of review copies that have been graciously sent to me by the authors for books that are out and one that's coming out later in the year. And I also have a couple that I just really want to read, and I'm very much looking forward to reading. So let's just start, shall we? I'll do the 2 that I have physically first. So Darktown by Palmer Pickering. Now, I did read this when it was in the beta stages. This book, even on beta, was so fun, and there wasn't a lot that needed to happen to it, but she has suggested that I read a particular chapter, and I'm just going to read the whole book because I want to see what changed from when I beta read it to when it got released. And also, this book is full of beautiful artwork, and I just want to experience that firsthand. So I'll see if I can find some art in the pages. Look at that. Just amazing, amazing stuff. A lot of effort's been put into this book, so I do want to experience it physically and just have that immersion of this beautiful lit RPG. So I'm really very much looking forward to that. I have that on the plans. The other thing that I would like to read is a copy. So this author sent me a review copy early in the year before it released, and then I backed the Kickstarter, and I still haven't read it. And that is going to be Elegy of a Fragmented Vineyard by Caden Love. He is taking the indie world by storm right now with his charisma and his TikToks and all those things. I'm too old to understand a lot of it, but I'm very interested in reading this. I've heard some great things, very dark magic system, and I can't wait to dive in. And it's been on my radar for the last few months, so I do want to give this one a go and get it read in the month of July. The next one that I would like to get to in July, which is a Spiffbo 10 entry, is The Sunset Sovereign, a Dragon's Memoir by Laura Hui. Now, this, again, has been sent to me. I've had it on my TBR, my radar, for a very long time. I adore the cover, one of my favorites from the competition this year, and the premise just sounds delightful. It says, when a dragon finds an assassin sneaking into his lair, he tells her of his life's work and his soon-to-be final chapter. It sounds delightful. It's nice and short. I think it's about 150 to 170 pages. Don't quote me on that. So, looking forward to reading this one. It seems like a very unique take on dragons. It's something that I've not really seen explored before, so I'm looking forward to reading that. In a similar vein, on the, I guess, a cozy side and something that I've not really experienced before, I have The Bartender Between Worlds by Herman Stuernagel on this TBR. I'll put the cover up here. I backed the Kickstarter. That beautiful edition will be coming my way sometime soon, but the author did reach out and ask if I would also like an e-arc copy, which I said, yes, I would love to read that and review it, hopefully by the time it gets released, and an author that I'm looking forward to having on the channel here sometime soon. So this one is Low Stakes Magic, Crafting Cocktails and Discovering the Power of Who We Truly Are. So this is a cozy fantasy that the author has written after, I think, 9 dystopian books, has shifted gears into the cozy fantasy realm where the magic only is able to be used in cocktails, like making cocktails. And I thought that was such a cool premise, so I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. And I love a tavern setting. I love a bar setting in fantasy books. I'm such a sucker for it. I know I need to get to The Wandering Inn by Pirate Abba. Is that who I'm thinking of? I'll put the cover up here anyway for that setting. But yeah, I am really looking forward to reading The Bartender Between Worlds, hoping to discover the cozy fantasy that works for me, because it hasn't in the past, but this one just sounds too good to ignore. So looking forward to reading that one as well. Now I've got a couple of review copies that I would like to get to over the month of July. I've lost my mouse on the screen while I'm trying to find the next book to read the blurb to you. But the next one is Imbued. This is by Helena L. Coven. I believe this one is coming out later in the year, but she was kind enough to send me a review copy, and I'll put the beautiful purple cover up here. It's just delightful. Now, I don't know too much about this one, so I am going to read the blurb. It says, Calla has no memories of her childhood except for hazy, reoccurring nightmares. Working as a servant in Kirjong, the picturesque terrace garden home to one of the most influential families in the Campua Dominion, she's content to live a simple life, as long as no one finds out about the forbidden magic under her skin. I do like a bit of forbidden magic. When the estranged family heir Grey, a mage hunter in servitude of the royal hold, unexpectedly returns home, Calla's secret threatens to surface. Instead of turning her in, however, Grey offers her the one thing she's always feared, to teach her how to use her powers. And as the turbulent tides of long-forgotten magic draws them together, Calla finds it harder and harder to deny her potential. But Grey knows more than what he admits. In the aftermath of a vile political plot targeting him, and with the shadow of a mage uprising cast upon the land, finding out what happened to Calla in her forgotten years might be their only chance to survive. Except the knowledge could break them both. It could break the world. This is a dark fantasy, which sounds absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to dive in. The other review copy that I have that I would like to get to in the month of July is Samurai Reborn by Jalen Tells, and I'll pop the cover up here. So this is a Black Samurai novella. So this one says, Sato is an African-American samurai raised in the Japanese culture. He has a tragic past which leaves him feeling hopeless and lost as a child. But now, as an adult, he tries to forget most of it. Growing up in Kawa, his father, Ken Sato, the protector and leader of the Majo clan, helped guide him to become a samurai when the time was right. Years later, a tragedy happens between them, and between them and the enemies, the Rudo clan and the Takashi Kuri, the ruler. The tragedy led to the death of Ken Sato, making Genji go through a journey of vengeance. Genji is now a vicious, blood-lusted, rageful human being who seeks revenge for his people and his father's death. He wants to honor his father's legacy. He feels that going through this vengeful mission will help him achieve that. So, nice little revenge tale. I believe this one is a novella coming in at about 130 pages, so another short read for the year. Now, the last one that I have on here is one that I'll probably start towards the beginning of the month, and I'll just take the whole month to read it in amongst other things. And that is going to be Toll the Hounds by Stephen Erickson. I had this one on my TBR last month and it just didn't get read. I didn't start it. So I do need to start it because I don't want to forget things in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I still want to finish that series this year. So I will be picking that up as well at some point this month. So those are the reads that I've got on my radar for July of 2024. What are you picking up? Are you excited for me to get to any of these? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. And if you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.